This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big update to share with you. 2 U.S. senior officials are heading over to Ukraine. I'll let you know the latest of the stimulus reconciliation deal and where those promises stand, plus the latest articles like this, SSI payments of $841 going out next month, and child tax credit 2022, where we stand with a $3,600 payment, and the family stimulus check of $1,250, what's happening with that, and I'll give you the latest inflation report from the Republican perspective, plus a few other updates. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on, but first, 2 U.S. cabinet officials will meet with Zelensky in Kiev. So this is a big deal. This means that I guess Kiev is a little more safer than it used to be, and the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, and Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, are heading for a press conference actually today, Sunday, in Kiev, Ukraine. So this is a big deal. We'll see what comes out of that. I'll probably find out more information for you on tomorrow. And then Biden, Democrats battle with perceptions of over-promising. So relating to the stimulus reconciliation deal, also known as the Build Back Better, also known as the Building a Better America, also known as the climate agenda, goes by a few different names. So what is going on with that? So President Biden made a bunch of promises, as well as Democrats, for the big bill, which was going to be trillions of dollars, and at this point it is not going anywhere, and things are looking really bad for the Democrats. So Congress returning to brawl over COVID aid and China competition bill. So they have been Congress has been on a little hiatus, a little break, vacation, state work period, whatever you want to call it, but they're coming back into office tomorrow to handle all of these big promises. They have about a 5-week stint until Labor Day, Memorial Day, end of May. And if they don't get anything done by then nothing is going to get done, and the Democrats are pretty much doomed for the elections coming up. So I think this time it's going to be a little different, just because elections are coming up, so they can't just promise, they actually have to take action to try to get votes. So otherwise the House and the Senate are going to flip. So I'll keep you updated with that. When it comes to California stimulus checks, so California stimulus checks, lawmakers considering sending $2,000. So California has already had 2 rounds of stimulus checks. It was the $1,100 and $1,200 if you want to count couples. And if this bill is approved, the state would send a $2,000 one-time payment per child to families. So this is the latest stimulus check proposal going on in California. When it comes to the $400 checks, those are still in the process, I guess, legislation. So if you're in California waiting for a $400 check, nothing has happened with that yet, at least nothing final. I'll keep you updated with that, as well as this $2,000 check too. I'll keep you updated. And then second, SSI payments for April go out next week. Are you set to get up to $841? So basically the average SSI claimant is getting $621 a month in benefits, which is higher because of that 5.9% COLA increase. So the highest that any individual could get is $841. That's basically all this is about. There's really nothing else to this article. So just talking about the SSI payments going out next month, sorry. And then stimulus, applying for the $850 stimulus checks in June. So over 800,000 residents in Maine are going to get $850 checks in June. There is a website open for that now. So yeah, if you live in Maine, definitely apply for those Maine $850 checks. And up in the air, child tax credit 2022 schedule, expanded CTC payments of up to $3,600 may continue in 2022. Here's where it stands. So I'll let you know where it stands. I'll save you all the headache and reading. They tried to get it into the big bill. They're going to try again for another push over the next 5 weeks to try to get the child tax credit into that Build Back Better bill, or Building a Better America, whatever it is, a stimulus reconciliation deal. And if it is not done by the end of May, then there's not going to be a child tax credit. So it still all depends on Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who are not fans of the child tax credit to begin with. So where this stands, not looking too good. And then 600,000 Americans to see stimulus payment worth up to $600. So a new law is sending stimulus payments worth as much as $600 to over 600,000 residents in Delaware soon under the relief rebate program. So Delaware could be getting, single filers will get $300 payments, joint filers will get $600 payments going on in Delaware. Then family stimulus check, in quotes, households earning under $200,000 a month, that can't be right, 200,000 or 200,000 a month, all right, could get a $1,250 in proposal. Would you qualify? So if you're making less than $200,000, you get a monthly payment of $1,250. So sorry, I read that wrong. Anyways, this is that Mitt Romney Family Security Act check, which is making a bunch of headlines, which hasn't really gone anywhere. So this is just kind of pushing false hope for families. That hasn't really gone anywhere too. I think the child tax credit will probably pass before the Mitt Romney Family Security Act of $1,250 a month if you have kids. That's the maximum you could get. And then tax rebate update, millions of Americans to get checks worth up to $400 this year after $46.5 billion budget signed off. So this is the J.B. Pritzker checks, which were for the budget of 2023, which was signed into law April 19th for Illinois. It looks like $400 checks, but it depends on their tax filing status and the number of dependents claimed. So looks like couples, if they file jointly and making less than $400,000, get $100, $50 for singles, and then it's $100 per dependent, capped out at 3. So that's how it would get up to $400. So if you have 3 kids and you're a couple, then you get the $400. Otherwise, it's $50 for singles, $100 for couples, which is probably on the lower side compared to other states. And sorry, shoppers, food prices are likely to keep rising. Here's why. So yeah, food prices continuing to go up. Customer demand continues to outpace our ability to supply products, according to Tyson Foods. And Tyson average sales price for the quarter rose nearly 20% compared to a year ago, helping the meat company recoup higher costs, including for labor and transportation. Americans are paying 10% more for food to buy at the grocery store than a year ago, with beef price rising 16%. Yeah, prices keep going up, unfortunately. It doesn't seem like it's going to go down, especially with what's going on in Ukraine. And it didn't feel like $80 worth of food. Inflation is making it hard to make healthy food choices. So yeah, just prices, unfortunately, just keep going up. Take a look at this video clip right here of the Republican perspective on inflation.
Danielle, the idea of rates going up that much and the Federal Reserve being that aggressive obviously unnerved these guys. Should they be unnerved? Is he going to be that aggressive?
Well, I think that the market right now is interpreting a major policy error has already been done. The Economist magazine started out yesterday by saying why the Federal Reserve has made a major mistake on inflation. These are never the headlines that you want to see, but it does appear that the United States is slowing. The economy is slowing at the same time that we have raging inflation and clearly a central bank that is asleep at the switch.
Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think that's exactly right. Neil, if you go back 14 months ago, when Trump left office, we had a 1.5% inflation rate, and now 14 months later, we're at 8.5%. I mean, that's an incredible slide, and it's in a large part, in my opinion, because of this runaway spending. So yes, the Federal Reserve Board has to raise rates, no question about it, to suck some of this excess money out of the economy. But let's not forget, there's a big fiscal component to this. We have to start cutting government spending because that's really in my opinion, the match that lit this forest
Steve,
fire.
That never happens. That never happens. It didn't happen under your old boss, and it's not happening under this one. That never happens under any boss. Maybe say the last year or so of the Clinton administration, right?
Neil, I know that, right. But I'm telling you what they should do, not what they're going to do. And look, if you don't start getting some of this excess spending and debt out of the economy, it's going to be really difficult and painful to deal with an inflation problem that, in my opinion, is getting worse. It's not getting better.
You know, it might get better, Daniel, and we kind of teased it with what's going on in China, and I didn't want to leave people hanging on that, but they've actually had a real slowdown going on owing in large part to shutting down Shanghai, a big, obviously industrial center. But the spillover effect is sapping Chinese demand, Chinese activity, and the betting seems to be it will put a lid on how high oil prices go, maybe how bad inflation gets. Do you buy that?
Well, demand
Well,
is
look,
certainly
First, Danielle. Go ahead, Danielle.
Demand has certainly
What-
taken a serious drubbing in China. We forget that before the pandemic hit, that Chinese growth had slowed down to a 3-decade low. They've reverted back to that path. And by the way, you mentioned we've got midterm elections coming up here in the United States. Xi Jinping has an election of his own coming up in November with the 20th People's Congress, trying to get that third term. So all of the stimulus money that they're going to be spending in China is going to be directed internally, domestically. So unlike 2016, when China was able to buy up a whole bunch of commodities around the world, they don't have that capacity and capability right now. So yes, China is definitely going to be going to help slow growth, slow the inflation on a global level.
What are your thoughts on that? Let me know down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. When there's trees, you should think of going outside because there's no air inside unless you have plants. But anyways, there's still air. But outside there's more air for you because the trees help you breathe. So you don't really want to cut down trees unless people are making houses. But there's plenty more around the world. So I wanted to tell you that if in order you're making something, it's okay to cut trees a little bit sometimes, but you shouldn't do it all the time because the trees help you breathe. If no trees, you can't breathe. So that's all the advice that I want to tell you. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. Another nice day out today. So we are probably going to do some outside stuff, maybe even go to the beach. We'll see. Hopefully you're enjoying the rest of your weekend. And yeah, you have a great day as well. If you want to check out my latest pickleball video, you could click the link up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.